Is your anger feeling out of control? Was that what it said? Is your anger feeling like, is your anger out of control? There we go. Is your anger out of control? Hey, I know that you want to be calm and you want to build a life where you're peaceful and not in chaos all the time. It's Rita and Tammy. We're brain trainers. And so we make videos to help you overcome the number one challenge that's holding you back, and that's stress.
Yep. And you watch these videos because you know down deep inside you can get some sort of inner peace. You can have some sort of behavior that really allows you to live your life to the fullest. Mm-hmm. And, you want to make a difference in your life and in the life of the others.
That's right.
And what's stopping you? What's stopping you from making your life better? Yeah. And sometimes it's anger. And anger shows up in so many different ways for so many different people. Anger, it could be totally automatic. Like you are literally have no say in the matter.
That's right.
So what is anger really?
It's an emotion. It's a code of operations that floods the body, and then the body can respond. And it's actually fight, flight, or freeze response. So it is something that usually requires your body to act. Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of people have, maybe you go into sadness, maybe you go into, you're so frustrated in your life that you just don't know what to do. And anger is the fastest, quickest, easiest go-to code of action, as Tammy was saying. So the best way to stop anger is to find the root. Like where did you learn it? How do you know? Where are you holding it inside? As brain trainers, we know that inside, we call this the internal representation, like something internally represents anger for you. Mm-hmm. So it could be a picture, it could be a story. It is something you learned when you were young, when you were really, really little, that if you behave that way, that you got to survive that event or those people that you're with, whatever it is. And then it linked it. It's a survival mechanism. It's a way to protect yourself. It's a way to cope. It's a way to cope with things that you did not know how to control.
Out of control, exactly. Yeah. So your anger can be out of control because that was a very out of control situation for you as a child. When your parents are angry, your fear level is skyrocketing, right? And so at that moment, the brain says, snapshot, it's super important to remember this. Don't ever forget it. And now it's unfortunate because you may have been very afraid as a child of the person that's angry. However, now that program where you saw how to act when you're angry is now running your life. And that's why it feels like your anger's out of control, because it really is the way you saw anger being held that's being replayed through your body, through this code of action. And so I was talking this morning about how the brain files things, and it's super interesting. Do you want to describe that?
No, you do it. She woke up with that thing in her head.
Yeah. So I wanted to make it like in terms that you could understand. So if you have an assistant and you tell your assistant, go get this client file, they go to the file cabinet and pull it out, and then you open it up and all the information is there. Or they go to their computer, right? And they pull it up so that you can access all the information. Well, all that information is the code that tells your body what to do when you're angry. Yell, get louder, get red, and all the blood rushes to your extremities. These things your muscles get tight, you start getting like bigger, and right. So that's your body's automatic reaction. You didn't tell it to do that. That's the code of action. Okay. So that's what's inside the folder, the client folder, so to speak. So now the assistant that goes to get that memory is actually called the neural pathway. And so a spark hits, sends the assistant out to catch that folder, which is the memory. The memory holds the code of action. So now, if you think of it that way, anything that you use a lot, just like your assistant would have that very handy, right? So what happens is the assistant so used to getting that folder that they put it somewhere really obvious so they can reach it quickly. And that's what your brain does. So then when your brain keeps going to this anger program, this anger file, this anger code of action, pretty soon you're like, wait a second, how come I'm angry all the time?
Yeah.
And because when what we practice, the brain says, let's make it easy to access. So I hope that makes sense for you. And if it's feeling like your anger is out of control, this is the reason. I hope it's logical as it was to me when I first learned it, because that's the first step. I think for me was just like, oh, there's actually a reason. I'm not crazy. I'm not, insane. I'm not like, it's how the brain and body work together.
Exactly. And also as that file is readily available, it becomes very repetitive, and it becomes, you have a network of anger. And because that is what the brain is now focused on, because we know it's coming up. We know it's coming up. So we're anticipating,
Yes.
and actually we're probably even more creating it. So we're creating more events, more people show up like that for us so we can respond.
Mm-hmm.
Our body then starts to Jones, is that word? Like it craves that, because you feel very alive. You feel it's very familiar, very comforting to have that. And if you didn't have it, you would go out and find it. You would go out and create chaos.
Yes.
So it can release those hormones or those stress hormones and stuff like that. So what do you do? What do? You break the pattern. And I like being 10 times more excited to break that pattern. So something happens, right? It triggers that intelligent part of you, that assistant, to go get that information. And what you want to do is you want to get it before it hits the body.
That's right.
And so it's like a workout, right? It's like you've got to build that muscle. And the best way to learn how to swim is not when you're drowning. So what you want to do is you want to start changing any perspectives, and through because we work with memories, and we work with our clients, and our clients have memories that hold that information. So we go in there, we nip that right there in the butt, and we start unraveling all that.
That's right.
Now for you to work on yourself is that you notice, oh, like, I know I get upset when this happens. I know. And then you want to do the stop technique, which is down below, print it out, put it in your refrigerator, put it in where you're driving. It's 4 steps. Do that every time. Capture every thought, capture every emotion, because then you're going to start breaking that pattern little by little by little.
Yes. So not only the assistant's doing this for you, the file folder is available, the code is quick and fast. And this happens like freaky fast, way faster than Jimmy John's. Okay. Yeah. So
is that a pizzeria?
It's a sub shop or something.
Okay.
They have, and their commercial is, it's freaky fast. So those of you that know that, and so your brain is just doing this so fast that you don't even know. You're just like, boom, you're instantly mad. And then later you're like, how come, right? This is how come. And so interrupting that assistant, maybe even before the neural pathway starts, like maybe even before she starts, like when you start feeling it and you're like, interrupt, and do what works for you. And so we find those things that work for you. We cater it to you so that you can leave feeling totally empowered to be like, oh, here's that sensation. Here's what I need to do. Okay. Right. And that's where you start getting the control. And then pretty soon it's going to be the opposite. You're going to be like, is my peace out of control? I'm peaceful about everything.
Yeah. It's, and you will notice that the physiology of your body changing the moment you capture it. You want to be aware. Once you're aware, do something about it. Sometimes, okay, you're not aware, and then you're able to respond. You will be able to respond the way you choose it to be, not the way the old programming is programmed to do, because you're going to start interrupting that. Look, guys, it might take a month, it might take a year. If you book a session, or if you go into group tappings, or group transformational systems, anything that is going to help you break the pattern, go to the root, pull it out, right? Pull it out of the root. And we help guide you through that. So there's some videos here that you can tap along with. You can work through memories, find out where it was the first time, the worst time, find out how you're doing it. Are you seeing it? Are you feeling it? Are you hearing it? go into that. I'm not telling you to go into that unless you've had some experience. I think you'd want to get some experience, but that's how we get to find out. So how do you know that you're angry? And we find that memory that supports that, and we pull the roots out of that. So this is super fun work. And I know anger is serious. And I know sometimes we feel like we deserve it, and it's very justifiable. That's just because it's a belief and it's a program, and we can rewrite those.
Right. And really, when you think about it, the only person that's paying for that justifiable anger is you. It's bad for your heart. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for your relationships. If it's out of control and you do not want to be angry anymore, then it isn't serving you to live the life that you love. And that's what we want for you. So yeah, it's really fast. It's a lot faster if you get some sessions so that you can deal with the deeper roots. And then it's going to be easier for you to do that. Otherwise, use the stop technique, like, share, subscribe. And you know what? If you're a person that's in a relationship with someone that's angry all the time, just share this with them. Give them the gift of getting some understanding, right? They're not evil. They're not bad. Nothing wrong with them. It's how the brain works. And when you know it, you can change it.
Oh, even for yourself, this can work. If someone's being angry and you're the butt end of it, you can do something about it where it doesn't affect you as much or at all. You'll be like, oh, that's interesting. They're being however they're being, and it does not affect you, which is pretty powerful, I think. We do have, in 2 weeks, we do have the anger management class workshop coming up. So we invite you to come. It is free. Learn the mechanics of the mind, learn how to apply these techniques, bring them along, bring yourself along, bring whoever you think would benefit. And gain some control in their life. So thank you for being here.
See you next time. Click notifications so you know when we go live next.